shots in, crosses in. Welcome to Friday Night Football here at KG5. It's the Safari Derby, the Hobart Zebras and the Kingborough Lions to kick off round 15 in the NPL Tasmania with the Cup run and done for 2019. All eyes now turn to the league. And the Kingborough Lions, under the new management of Jez Kent, have made a pretty good start 2 games into his tenure. A 3-2 defeat against Devonport, scoring 2 goals in the second half to really fight back at them, but just left a little bit too much to do. And they went up to Riverside last week and claimed a 1-0 win. The Hobart Zebras haven't played for a fortnight. They were probably at their worst they've been all season in that game, though, against Olympia. A 3-1 loss, which outside of that, they've been pretty good this year, the Hobart Zebras. Even when they've drawn a few, they probably should have won. Their performances have been good, but that was their worst performance of the year, as their coach Dave Smith put it this morning. He'll want a response tonight in this Safari Derby. I'm Andrew Calling, and joining me here this evening at a fairly cold, but perhaps not as bad as expected, KG5 is Jacob Dool. Good evening, Jacob.
Hi, Andrew. Good to be here. I was definitely expecting it to be a little bit cooler, if anything, so I think we can live through this for what hopefully should be a good game too. Yeah,
it certainly should. The Lions seem to have got off to a pretty good start under Jez Kempf. I expect them to play fairly pragmatic, disciplined. Perhaps not the prettiest of football, but he's a man who gets results, Kent. He's every bit the pragmatist, and had a pretty good season up in Launceston at City last year, guided them to their highest finish in their NPL Tasmania history. So he'll now look to do a similar job at the Lions. He's come in and said the back half of this year is largely about building for next year and players just working their way into his plans, seeing who he's got to work with. But that doesn't mean they're not going to be looking for results. And you can tell from the disappointment he had speaking about the Devonport loss that he wants to win every game they play.
Yeah, and I have to say, even just in that Devonport game alone, you could see a little bit of progress. I thought the first half they were fairly uninspired, as you say, fairly pragmatic, didn't really look to make much happen. But the second half, that game style really sort of came into its own as the players started to adjust. And I think that's what he would have liked to see, as you say, finding out which players can play his game style and which ones are willing to put in and get some results at the back end of the season.
And the Hobart Zebras certainly losing that one to Olympia, but were firmly in the title race. I suppose technically they're still in it. They'll probably have to win every game from here on out to be any hope. Then hope for a few more results. It's, I think, a 14-point deficit that they've got to haul in. But look, it's a long season. They'll keep going, and if they can string a few wins together, who knows? They're certainly going to want to finish as high up the table as possible. We might take a look at the team list if we can there, Charlie, and we'll start with the Hobart Zebras. And they'll be quite pleased to welcome a big Juan Harutza back into the lineup. The big Czech centre-back has missed quite a bit of time this year. He's a huge figure, hulking frame at the heart of their defence. They'll be glad he's back in there. Riley Dillon, will we see him at fullback or in attack? It remains to be seen. Nicky Edwards is a lively little attacking player, has really been a creative force for them this year. Henry Fagg comes in there, presumably perhaps trying to figure out how they're going to line up formation-wise with Fagg, Little and Harutza. Maybe a back three, maybe one to get pushed out to fullback. We'll wait and see on that. Jordan Muller, I expect him nowhere else other than central midfield, running the show in there. Very effective player. Matthew Pace, he'll play up in attack. Nathan Reid makes his NPL Tasmania debut tonight. There's a bit of a change and a response to that Olympia game. In comes the young keeper, Nathan Reid, who's been doing the job in the challenge. We'll see how he goes with the pressure of a first start, but we're on to that young man earning the start there. Matthew Sanders, he comes in to lead the line and leads the scoring competition. 19 goals, well ahead of anyone else this year is Sanders. Dwayne Walsh, capable on the wing or as a fullback. And Mr. Versatile, Ryu Yonezawa, we've seen him as a centre-back, a full-back and a central midfielder this year. Where will he be today? Who knows? But he'll be damned effective wherever he is. That I'm confident on. He's been one of the players of the year. Pretty strong-looking bench with big Lukey Hughesloot on there, James Ackley, Joshua Jones, the backup keeper, then Adam Sunday McEwen and Plunkett Smith. So not too many changes to the Zebras lineup after that Olympia game, but the big notable switching goals there, Jacob.
Yeah, as you say, it's good to see a young fella come in and get a bit of a run for him after a tough run of results. So it often feels like you have to make changes after a run like that, but it's pretty good to see that they've stuck fairly strong and backed in the guys who got them off to that good start to the season. So
we'll flip now to the Kingborough Lions and Kenneth Perkinson there. We've had an E rather than an N there, Charlie. Kenneth Perkinson, the American, comes in. He'll be in net. Had one he'd like to forget, I think, against the Devonport Strikers, that first goal, but was pretty good last week against Riverside, and he's had a good season since coming down, has displaced. He's taken the number one keeping role there off Mitch Stalker. James Hall gets a start tonight. Joel Samet, the fullback. Wait and see where Hall lines up. He's a wily customer, can make things happen. Really enjoy watching him go about his business. Joel Samet came across from Olympia. You'd imagine he's in at the fullback slot there. And you've got Danny Cohen, who I'm not really sure where we're going to see him, because whilst he's naturally a striker, he played centre-back in Kent's first game, so we'll see if that experiment continues. Horatio Gutierrez Jr. has been his preferred striker of choice and has been tremendously effective in that role. Cameron Steele, the American, also likely to join him in attack. Chris Downs, the set-piece superstar, will be key to their hopes in midfield. Keenan Dowse has been their best player this year. I said in my preview today, probably the first name on the team sheet. He has just been so reliable down the right. Jack Turner, the big boom recruit from South Hobart, they got across. He and Brayton Allen from Olympia, a couple of very astute pickups there. I think the Allen one just came before Kent. Kent was able to get Jack Turner along. And on the bench, you've got Smithy Sharples and Easton, a couple of promising youngsters. Tom McDonald, Nick Zammett, and Jake Hayes rounding out that lineup for the Kingborough Lions. So we'll see how they go tonight. They're certainly the underdogs, but I remember a game, must have been about 12 months to the date when they played the Kingborough Lions out here on a Friday night at KG5, and Danny Cowan scored one from inside the centre circle as the Kingborough Lions claimed to win. So strange things have happened in this fixture before. What say you, Jacob? What are you expecting from this one?
Well, I think the Lions did show a lot of, or have shown a lot of promising signs so far under Jez Kent, and they've got some players who are capable of making, maybe not a goal from halfway again happen, but making some interesting things happen in any matchup. But I still think the Zebras might be a little bit too strong in this one.
Yeah, I think I'd fancy the Zebras as well. I'll take them at 2-1, but I think the Lions will give them a good test. Very much looking forward to this one. Certainly noticed quite often a team with a new coach have a little bit of a bounce early in the tenure. We saw that with Man United, and probably locked themselves into a very expensive response. Solskjaer, the full-time manager there, I reckon they might have judged that one a little bit too quick. But Jez Kempf has been given the long-term mandate here at the Lions Den. No such issues there. He's leading a rebuild of this team. It looks like it's going to be Gutierrez Jr. and Turner leading the line tonight for the Lions, with Steele and Downs in midfield. Dowse, Samet, Cuthbertson and Danny Cowan in at centre half. So it looks like they will continue with that experiment. Danny Cowan back into defence. Seen so much of him as a striker. Quite different. The goals certainly weren't flowing for him earlier this year, and he's very strong in the air, so I certainly can see he's got the physical tools to play there. We'll see how he goes tonight. We're underway in the big checking machine. Good to see him back on the ball. Steele in midfield. Plays it back to Samet. Some room to run into here, the former Warrior, and sends one down the line. It's a good-looking ball too. Nathan Reid Out and is sharp, the first involvement from the youngster on debut. Sliding out to collect as they just try to sneak in down the left there. It's Brayton Allen looks to be parking himself out in that left wing. Perhaps the former Olympia combination down the wing of Allen and Samet is the thinking there. Muller swings it back to Henry Fagg. And he retreats to Reed. And now Tommy Little, who it does seem is playing in a back three with Harutza and Fagg this evening for the Zebras. Drops it off in there for Matthew Pace. His ball deflected and away by Cowan. Little nodding forwards. Trying to make something happen is Jack Turner. Now Harutza. Certainly expect to see plenty of this from the Zebras tonight, recycling out the back. Not shy about the patient build-up. Looking from side to side. Deep there as that one's just played in behind of Edwards. Working it forward was Downs. No one really there. Although a tremendous bursting run is offered by Samet. Just cut off the little inside pass to Harutza. Finds Muller instead though. Now Yonezawa. Straight there to Jack Turner. I guess the nickname of the returner has double meaning now. He returned to South Hobart, and now he's returned to the Lions Den as well. Really giving his great mileage with that one, the returner. His Pace. Back to Walsh. Tommy Little. And it's Harutza. Look up from Henry Fagg, and then he turns it straight over to Cameron Steele. Scored the match winner last week up at Windsor Park, and he threads this one through, looking for the run of Hall, who's been flagged for offside, but good early signs here from the Lions.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen the same play a few times in a row here. The Zebras, as you said, really happy to play it around the back, but the Lions are filling in that midfield space and winning it on the turnover pretty easily. So if he could have just stayed on side there, that could have been a nice little breakaway.
They definitely appear keen to spring those runners in behind. As this one will come out through Tommy Little. Straight to Samet. Turner. Well, that's the foul blown there. Yonezawa. Wants to go back to Tommy Little, who's under a little bit of pressure from Gutierrez Jr. there. Looks like he will lead the line once again, Horatio. Sanders looking for a first involvement, but couldn't control it, and Steele just pounding that one forward, away by Henry Fagg. Tommy Little chipping it onto the head of Samet. Back again to Samet. Fagg, straight forward to Steele. There was Keenan Dowse. Punching that one into the corner there, and Henry Fagg's been alert to the early danger. Brought down beautifully by Dowse first time. Couldn't quite control it there, Gutierrez Jr. And Reed, perhaps with a few early nerves there, as with the left he shanks that one out.
Yeah, he looked pretty comfortable up to that point, but we can probably excuse him for one or two off the side of the boot early on.
Here's Keenan Dowse, and good purchase on the throw too, looking for Hall. Harutza always favoured in an aerial battle though. Not too many will have the big check centre half covered. Good throw that from Dowse. Spotted the pocket of space, put it out in front of Hall, and it's been a positive start this from the Lions, showing a good intent. Both the centre backs venture forward for this one. Swung to the back post. Harutza can just let that one go. Slightly wasteful delivery there from Samet. But Ches Kempf would be happy with his side's first 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think the Lions have really had all of the forward play. The Zebras haven't found too much space past halfway even so far, so I think that's definitely what the Lions would be hoping for.
So Reed demanding some movement, not liking what he's seeing ahead of him. ignores the short options and says, we'll just go long instead. So they all coalesce in the middle. Headed forward by Steele. Into the path of Turner. Broken up by Riley Dillon. Here's Stone Cold now. Turning and sending it down the line for the run of Pace. Eddie Pace trying to take on Keenan Dowse, but secondary help coming in from the big stalk, Cuthbertson. Yonezawa. Pace. Down the line again. Good ball for Edwards. Back for Dillon. Riley Dillon banding it in, and it's well taken by Perkinson. Safe pair of hands there from the Kingborough number 1. Releases to Keenan Dowse, who's had an outstanding season for Kingborough, and he smashes this one long. Well away by Fag. Dowse. Zoa just worked under it by Turner and away by Harutza. Wayne Walsh bursting out after this one. Couldn't bring it down first time though. Brayton Allen. Cuffed it up to Pace. Now Walsh. Pace to Little. And now Reed. Picks out Riley Dillon. Knocks it back to Fag. And along they go, looking for the Colonel, Matty Sanders. He's had scraps to feast upon so far. Dowse again. Again, the direct option, first time ball, looking for Turner. Cutting it out, Tommy Little. Good header in there from Edwards, just beating Steele to the ball. Muller to Pace. Holds it up. He's stagnant out in front of him there for Pace. Walsh, that's better, finds Muller. Muller can't quite find Sanders. Hustling away was Pace. Cleared away again, and that's a nice little move. Brayton Allen showing some good toe there. But beaten out in the end on a couple of occasions by Harutza. Henry Fag. Mickey Edwards. And centrally, Yonezawa Mueller. Now down the right they go. Wayne Walsh stretching to get there. Joel Samet, and he gets the better of him. There's the Dwayne pipe. Samet wins out eventually. Turner turning. Doing so nicely, and then just got the ball caught between his legs, so holds it up, knocked it back to Joel Samet. His ball intercepted by Little. The team able to really keep a hold of it at the moment. It's a little bit scrappy out there as Cuthbertson goes long. Brayton Allen threatening to get in behind down the left again. The numbers favour the Zebs, but Allen's kept a hold of the ball well, and he looks to slide it through. It's a dangerous ball. And again, Nathan Reid is well off his line.
As you say, both teams struggling to find really any prolonged periods of possession. And I think that's because, as you mentioned earlier, there's not many runs being made forward. That's the first real central run we've seen from either team that's almost been rewarded.
James Hall showing his pace. He's been one who has been willing to make those runs, darting the runs in behind the lines. He's got some pace about him. He and Allen got the potential to threaten from out wide as Pace decides not to play the early ball. Instead goes to Fag. Now Riley Dillon, who we've not seen marauding forward so frequently just yet, but this is what he does and does so well. It's Dillon holding off the attentions there of James Hall. In the end, he can't win his side the corner. After 10 minutes here, locked at 0-0. And Dillon not quite able to get in behind there. Such an attacking minded fullback, and with the back three today, he should have plenty of licence along with Dwayne Walsh to get forwards. Harutza decisively in the air. Cameron Steele. Chris Downs came down. They had a stint at the Hobart Zebras himself, Chris Downs. It's Henry Fag leads back here. And has to go long. Couldn't get over the head of Cameron Steele though. Charged down by Fag. Cuthbertson should be able to track this one. Back he goes to Reed. Again, just a little scrappy. Geordie Muller. Back to Tommy Little. Now Reed. Swings it to Fag. Now it's Dillon. And look out from Riley Dillon. He spies a good run from Matthew Pace. Picks him out. A lovely ball onto his chest. Danny Cowan bodying up, and in the end, infringing a little too much for the referee's liking. Cowan arguing the point. As we have a look. A little bit stiff, perhaps. Probably most egregious was the initial hand fighting, and then after that, just seemed like 50-50.
Yeah, it looked to be 12 of one, a dozen of the other, really, to me. Not too much either way.
And it's going to be Nicky Edwards with the chance from the free kick. And he bends it in. Couldn't beat the first man. Will come back down, away by Danny Cowan. Geordie Muller. Edwards. Turning sharply, Nicky Edwards. He's trying to skip into space, but the elevator door slammed shut, and they also fouled him. That's a frustrating one. They seem to have him under control. Just blocking off his path to the ball. Just need to be a little subtler, perhaps. And it'll give Riley Dillon the opening. So stone cold, what can he do? He's got Edwards on short. Opts to bend it into the back post. It might fall for Fag, not quite, then volleyed away by Little. And the area cleared by Gutierrez Jr. Did well. Yonezawa turns and swings it over the top, and that'll be easy pickings for Perkinson, yet to be tested, and he gets things moving quickly with a thumping drive right down the throat of Yonezawa. Steele, and then Downs helping it on. Easy stuff there for Nathan Reid. So Henry Fagg punching it forward. Muller had made a bursting run, but it was cut out by Cuthbertson. Got it to Jack Turner. Turner to Steele. Keenan Dowse. Tough one that for Hall. And Yonezawa did ever so well to keep it in. And then coughed up to Cameron Steele, who turns. On the left foot, he'll switch it up out towards Allen in a little bit of space. Brayton Allen turns back onto the right and swings it in. Well, I think was looking for the head of Turner, but just overhit that one. And comfortable again for Nathan Reid. Both keepers not doing a lot in the shot-stopping department, more of a sweeping role early on.
Yeah, they're pretty much just having to clean up those long balls over the top, aren't they? And neither of them having too much trouble with it so far.
So Cowan forward, Yonezawa gets his boot in, then Geordie Muller nodded on. Danny Cowan, you can see why Kent likes him at centre-back. He's really dominating the aerial contest so far. Quickly taken free kick by Downs, trying to catch them out, and he's got to take it again. And I was told that he'd just taken it too far away from where the foul had occurred. Played from behind there, so doing himself a disservice if anything, but instead he'll go the Zebras defence back. Chris Downs, he's very much a man who can ask a question from a dead ball. Few better than him, if any, in Tasmania.
Yeah, I think even from this far out, the Zebras would be a little bit nervous.
As he stands it up, looking for the big stalk. Cuthbertson, Danny Cowan also in there. Great save, Nathan Reid gets a hand to it. And the young debutant comes up big for his side there to deny Danny Cowan what looked a certain goal. Well, there's the threat of Downs for you. Played it in, couldn't. He's done really well. Cowan has to score that though. And perhaps we're seeing there why he was shifted back into centre-back initially.
Yeah, once that ball bounced over the top, I'm not sure how it's not ended up in the back of the net, honestly.
Great save, Reid, as this one swung again in the Cowan direction. He got it on target. Must have thought he'd scored. The keeper did really well, but certainly from that range, you need to be putting that chance away. Great piece of keeping, waited and waited, then reacted. He's got a slight stature for a goalkeeper, Nathan Reid, but showing there his skill set and passing his first major test with flying colours. Look, again, when the short option is covered, they then kind of go with a little bit of a huddle in midfield. So gives the signal for that to occur and then swings in that direction. Cohen thought he was having his shirt ripped off there. Blocked off by Downs. Walsh wants it out for the throw, then takes it quickly looking for Sanders. Off the head of Cohen. Into the path of Sanders, whose touch was heavy. Yeah, Dylan bombing on in there. David Smith just implores his young keeper to back himself and take the short pass on from the back. Jack Turner looking to skin Yonazawa. Sarutsa back in support, and he punches this one low. Perhaps that was the option where he should have gone long there, Reid. The recent words of his coach maybe just impacting that decision. Looking to make something happen here is Brayton Allen. The Zebras have the numbers. Matthew Pace. Out the back to the big store, Cuthbertson. Shut down again. Nodded forward. Jack Turner volleying it forward into his own path. It's Jack Turner on the left. Tries to find Hall at the back post, and he just couldn't quite direct it. There's a bit of fizz on that one from Turner.
Yeah, and it just didn't quite bounce on his foot right, did it? That was really one coming in at that pace. It just has to hit your foot the right way, and just a little half volley, you couldn't quite get around it.
Pretty good ball in the end from Jack Turner too, considering where the defenders were. Really took them out of the equation and forced the chance himself. As this one's swung wide looking for Douse, firmly met on the volley. Oh, well done, Gutierrez Jr. Then slid in. Riley Dillon did well to come out and support though. And then clears the area looking for Sanders. Douse did just enough to put him off. Cuthbertson. Then rakes it wide for Samet. Searching ball is a good one. Work back in looking for Gutierrez Jr. Keenan Douse bending it in for Turner. Turner bringing it down, combining with Steele. Oh, he had Allen if they could have just got one more pass away. They keep a hold of it. Samet looking for Turner. Strong defence, Harutsa. And the flag had been raised as that volley was lashed in there on the follow-up. Perhaps an offside flag and spot a foul there. I think it was just an offside flag that had been raised. Smith not happy with the short options that are presenting his young keeper so far. He shows us a deft touch to flick that one out, but it's coming back the other way. It's Gutierrez Jr. Horatio Gutierrez Jr. with a sublime volley. And the Hobart Zebras trailing here early on. The Lions have come to play and they take the lead here. Gutierrez Jr. an emphatically hit volley, leaving the keeper no chance there. Jeez, he hit that one very, very sweetly, Jacob.
Yeah, he finished it well, but that's the risk when you're trying to play it out short from the back, isn't it? Even when he eventually decided to go long, he was so rushed. But, I mean, you don't expect to finish like that even when you turn it over. So that's a fantastic goal there, really, from Gutierrez.
Well, he's a man coming into form, been amongst the Lions' best the last couple of weeks. This push into attack yielding the benefits Jess Kent would have hoped, and 2 weeks in a row. I think he, 2 out of 3, sorry, scored the week before. Last week was Cameron Steele, but Gutierrez Jr. showing very much the strike of the technique of a man who can play an attack. And the number 8 on his back, but cast into an attacking role. And look, they deserve their goal here, the Kingborough Lions. They've been terrific value in the opening 20 minutes. They've come out here and They've just jumped the Zebras a little bit. This is the Safari Derby, and right now it is playing out much like nature. Just the Lions hunting in packs and jumping all over the Zebras. They've just been a little bit docile to start this one. Plenty of time to turn things around, though. Plenty of quality players out there, but at the moment, it's been all the Lions. Douse. Throw in. Headed down by Fag. Yonazawa found Edwards. Edwards to Sanders. And that man, Gutierrez Jr., gets back on it. Combines with Jack Turner. Showing his customary strength over the ball. Not particularly thrilled with the options presenting himself, but eventually lays it back to Downs as he tried to pick out Brayton Allen. Couldn't quite do so. Allen with a first-time ball back to Samet. Cross coming in, looking for Cameron Steele. Might fall out back. Gutierrez Jr. He's done it again! How do you like that? Horatio Gutierrez Jr. is putting on a show. 2 stunning goals. An acrobatic effort there, and Kingborough 2 to the good. How about that, Dooley?
Well, we thought the first goal was a good finish. I don't really know what to say about that one, honestly. I mean, more of a hopeful cross than anything, I think, and even Turner flicking on couldn't get much on it, and Gutierrez has just made something out of nothing, honestly, there.
2 absolute screamers from Gutierrez Jr. And the Zebras just a little bit stunned here. They're shell-shocked 22 minutes into this one. This is not what they were expecting. The Kingborough Lions have come to play, and the Ches Kent there are off to a roaring start down at the Den. And Gutierrez delivering the goods, and this man, Jack Turner, was vital in that goal. His hold-up play. You can see what he's added to this Kingborough team. He was such a big part of that South Hobart title charge last season as Edwards comes in late on Douse, and we'll get a bit of a talking to here. Douse wanting a little bit more for him, but just a warning for Nicky Edwards on that occasion. Didn't make any real contact there. Douse just not happy with the attack that was quite late. So no contact, so just a talking to, and does present Chris Downs with another opportunity. Chris Downs swinging it in. Nathan Reid comfortably collecting on this occasion. Headed down by Dylan to Fag. Taking his time over the throw in. Eventually went looking for Sanders, who was directing traffic behind him, wasn't aware the throw was coming. And Cowan heads back to Perkinson, and that really sums up this first half of the first half for the Hobart Zebras so far.
Yeah, just a little bit messy, a little bit unorganised, and after those 2 goals, I think they're looking a little bit shell-shocked, honestly.
Yeah, it certainly seems to be the case. That man, Gutierrez Jr., boy, is he leaving his mark on this contest. Couple of fabulous goals. He won't get the throw in here, but they've looked pretty well organised so far, the Kingborough Lions. So to continue to try and charge up the table, they can move within a point of the Zebras with a win tonight, albeit the Zebras would have games in hand. But this will be 2 from 3 if they can get it. And Jack Turner sliding it through, looking for the pace of Brayton Allen, but will cut out by Geordie Muller. Lays it back here. Driven down the line. Oh. Deflects almost into the path of Gutierrez Jr. Cohen's first time ball found Turner. Really giving him a focal point up there is Turner. Hall competing in the air against Fag, who goes down and will get the free kick. Hall just getting in his back a little. Kingborough Lions bench just suggesting a man of his stature shouldn't be bringing down the big fella Fag there. Did seem to get in his back a little, though.
Yeah, I think that'll do it, honestly. It doesn't matter how big you are if you've got a knee or an elbow in the back.
But still a little bit dazed, it would seem, Henry Fag, as we have another look at Horatio Gutierrez Jr. just doing his thing. Just sat there almost in slow motion for him, and he saw the opportunity. We've seen one bicycle this year from Rowan Heggie, and Gutierrez bringing it out.
You can never have too many, can you, really?
The more the merrier. It's fantastic stuff, that. The Hobart Zebras need to respond here. Forward there. Tommy Little. Again, it'll be Dowse taking a throw in the Kingborough half. And that should be a Lions throw. Dowse looking for Hall. In between his legs, James Hall. Oh, then went the little nutmeg on Henry Fagg. Very stylish stuff from young James Hall.
Gee, the Lions really are looking confident, aren't they, if they're pulling out the tricks like that?
Yeah, the confidence flowing through this Kingborough team. Might come off as it rolled out of play, but certainly the Zebras very concerned here at the moment. Keenan Dowse with some room to bend across in. To the top of the box. Cameron Steele across to Jack Turner. Now the overlapping Dowse. Just got his cross wrong on that occasion. Far too much on that one. Couldn't quite bend it.
It's unusual for him, though. His delivery is normally spot on, so I don't think the Zebras would be wanting to give him that much space every time down.
Yeah, certainly not. And he's had plenty of license to bomb on in attack. Nathan Reid along. Danny Cowan looking to charge up and influence that. Didn't quite reach the contest in the end. Could hear as Junior couldn't get in behind Farutza. Good turn of pace, the big fella. Here is the man who's been lining up KG5 tonight, and he swings this one out. Looking for Hall. Couldn't find him. Brought down by Dylan. Yonezawa. Look at the way the Lions are pouncing here. Charging down Gutierrez Jr. Plenty of zip out there. And, the Pride of Lions very much on the hunt right now for Zebra flesh.
Yeah, and the Zebras just look like they're not expecting it every time. They sort of, as you said earlier, they still want to take their time at the back, but they just don't have any time to use, and they're really looking under pressure here.
So throw in for Yonezawa. He's someone that'd love to get on the ball driving the play, but he's been booked down defensively thus far. Here's Sanders. Turning towards the sideline. Working back was Hall, and now out the back for Turner. Turner threads it across. Hall again. Just tried to play it off of the Zebras defender for a corner, and he does so successfully. Off of Tommy Little. Or is it a free kick even?
Yeah, I think it might be a free kick in a bit closer.
Yeah, so even better for them. Hall should have been fouled, so this is in a very good position, although interestingly it's not Chris Downs across to take it. They're going to favour the left foot of Samet and maybe just have Downs lurking for a follow-up effort, or he's now on if they want to change the angle of the free kick, although Mickey Edwards become aware of his presence at the top of the box. So Joel Samet just bends in, a teasing ball off the line, well away. Cameron Steele skipping into space, turning one way, then the other. Sends it out to Samet. Joel Samet hammers it on the left. Well blocked. Yonezawa. Riley Dillon. Out to pace. Zebras breaking the siege and turning defence into attack. Dillon's got Edwards in the middle. He sends it in that direction. He beats Perkins into the ball. And then coming across was Danny Cowan. And the Lions skipper, Johnny on the spot to see it behind. Just dangerous moment there as Edwards got in ahead of Perkinson. They've got a corner though here, the Zebras. They parlay that into something. They've really been under pressure for much of this half. To the back post, Perkinson collects. To central, that set piece. And Perkinson. They do have the wind at their backs in this half. The Kingborough Lions. Certainly favouring their end as Downs chips it forward. Just bounces over the top of everyone in the end. Headed forward for pace. Looking back was Allen. Pace turns and goes. as a run at Cameron Steele, and that took him into the path of Chris Downs, whose first-time ball just eluded Gutierrez. And Yonezawa wisely swings it out wide for Riley Dillon in space. Brayton Allen, got to credit the Kingborough wingers' work rate in this one. They've really been tracking back both ways tremendously thus far. Dousing it right back tonight. Douse. Followed by Turner. Dillon. Couldn't find Sanders, and just basic passing errors like that just plaguing the Zebras game right now, and it's very uncharacteristic.
Yeah, it's hard to say how much of that is the pressing from Kingborough and how much is just a little bit of panic or a lack of composure from the Zebras players.
Yeah, there's not too much I can blame on the pressing for that one, missing Sanders. Just a basic skill error, that one. They need to tidy them up as Jack Turner. Saw the impact he had at South Hobart coming in midway through a season. Sparked a title charge with a run of goals. And Kingborough, he's coming here and had a fair impact. His work commitments mean he's not overly available on the training track, but look, he keeps himself in tremendous shape, and I've never seen him rock up to a game and thought, gee, Jack Turner looks rusty. It's always been, oh, there he is, bobbing up, impacting the scoreboard again. He just has a way, Jack Turner. The old cork in the ocean of bombing up and scoring goals. This one's blasted away the path of that man Turner. Yonezawa heads it back towards Dillon, taken down in stride by Dillon. Douse did well. And then Steele showing strength and just holding off two Zebras, then beating a third, and then having his arm ripped off by Geordie Muller, who surely gets a slice of cheese. It was almost as if he was asking for a dance there. Muller wasn't letting go of the arm.
That seemed like a frustration foul early, and then the further Steele got, the more and more frustrated it became. So I think that really had to be a card there, didn't it?
Just couldn't stop him. He was just strong, powerful, bursting through. I'll tell you what, he would have had goal of the year sewn up earlier in the year, Cameron Steele. He's shown ability to dance past opponents. There was one down at Kingborough. I reckon he beat about 6 players before just putting his shot wide of the mark. But he really does have that in his locker to go past a man. Just almost like he's gliding past them when you watch him. Here's Yonezawa. Oh, great sliding challenge. Gutierrez Jr. winning it back. Chipped in there by Hall. Steered away by Harutza. Now Sanders will turn. Look up. What's he got out in front of him? He sends it behind Riley Dillon. Dillon finds Edwards in a pocket of space. Jack Turner hustling out after him. Edwards trying to skip free of two of them, and oh, that's a bit harsh, I reckon, on Steele. I reckon the foul's gone against Turner. Let's have a look here, maybe a shirt grab against Turner. Just leaning in, I reckon. Didn't get any of the ball with that secondary attempt. So free kick for Edwards. But bailed out there, really, Edwards. It was a poor decision to try and take them both on. That's a good ball, though. Although Perkinson makes it his own. And swings it out there for Allen. Allen trying to find Gutierrez Jr. Yonezawa tight to him. It's no one down there for the Stripey Horses. Back for Jack Turner again, just dropping back into the midfield. All sloppy pass, though. Lets in Matthew Pace. Looks to take on Danny Cowan. Across came Cameron Steele, who's offered good coverage tonight. Yeah, showing his confidence, and even, well, I thought he'd won the throw, but Stratos has just overruled that one.
Had the linesman fooled for a second there. Worth a go.
I think the right decision has been reached as Jack Turner comes back in and has given away a penalty there, Jack Turner. Oh, dear. Jack Turner with a fairly inadvertent foul on Sanders. We'll have a look here. Thrown in. Ooh. I don't know about that on replay, Dooley.
I didn't see much in that live, and I don't think I see much more on the replay, honestly.
Jeez, I don't know about that. well.
Honestly thought Turner might have just fallen over his own feet there.
He's at the centre of controversy around a penalty incident on Monday here, Mr. Plumeritis. It's not taken him long to re-enter that frame at the very same end. So Sanders steps up, and the Zebras pull one back. They have been gifted a lifeline here. 2-1 the score, and Sanders from, would that be their first shot, Dooley?
That would be their first shot.
Their first shot of the night from the penalty spot. 2-1 the score. I'd love another look at that penalty incident if we can, Charlie. The slow-mo here. Let's see if we can spot what Turner did. Oh, he's got in the back legs of Sanders. I suppose the argument would be, if that occurred further up the field, you'd call it as a free kick, but it just seems, so inadvertent.
Yeah, and I think we know that fouls in the box aren't always called the same, and I think for good reason too at times, but either way, the Zebras may be a bit lucky to be back in this game with the way they've played, whether it was a correct call or not.
I just reckon. I wonder if maybe Monday was playing on the mind there a little. He's gone, no, I'm going to make sure to be paying fouls in the box this week. But, the Kingborough Lions, they'll be reeling a little from that one. So Chris Downs sends this one in. Cuthbert's in the target. Well collected by Nathan Reid. I can't think they would have taken that one too well up in Devonport, Dooley.
No, I can't imagine that would have gone well, honestly, but...
Backwards, Edwards didn't know where that one ended up. Down the line, Hall trying to get in behind. That's some good defence from Tommy Little, who then has his arm grabbed away. Just taking the time with a few roving repairs here. Yonazawa charging out after that one. So 7 minutes plus change left before the break. And that penalty just burst the Lions' bubble a little bit. They've been in complete control throughout this first half. Have dominated the game. And the Zebras have been given a bit of a lifeline here. Can the Lions get back on with the job and play the football that's got them into this position? Jack Turner headed away by Henry Fagg. This man's on a hat-trick. Back to Chrissy Downs first time. Just trying to finesse one for the top corner. But underneath it a little too much. And skies it over the bar. On goes Reid. Again, Danny Cowan has been just leaving his man to compete for these goal kicks all night long, the centre half. He's been peeling off Sanders and competing with the midfielders, and it's really allowed his side to just dominate in the air in those aerial duels. And I think that's why they're turning the ball over so frequently from these long balls out from the back. Yeah,
Cowan just seems to, no matter what position he's playing in, he just judges the ball well and is smart enough to know when he can leave his man and when he has to stay back.
Haven't seen him tested with defenders running at him yet, but so far aerially has very much looked a centre-back, as Keenan Dowse should be able to deal with this. Lays it back to Perkinson, who gets some pretty good purchase on that one. Long, Jack Turner turning, trying to play in Chris Downs, who sets it down in front of Dowse. Gave him a bit of a task there, Dowse, who bent one for Turner, but it left the field of play, unfortunately, for the returner up there. He's asking the question, but just a little too much bend, and yeah, that did. That really whipped around.
Yeah, he brought it back a long way there, didn't he? Bit unlucky in the end.
So Riley Dillon gets to this one first. Throw in will go the Lions' way. Again taken by Dowse, who's had plenty of these throws so far this eve, and Gutierrez Jr. the target. Fag tried to stoop to win the header. Ian Smith imploring his team to back themselves and play out from the back a little more. And then just knock it away. Douse. Down the line. Hall unable to get in behind of the Zebras' defence. Douse attacked the ball nicely. Worked it to Steele. Geordie Muller in there to intercept. And Perkinson comes miles off his line. This may well end up being a shot on target. It's going to come down the opposition penalty area. Might fall for the danger man, Gutierrez Jr. He scored 2. Lays this one off for Hall. Hall taking on Fag and beating him. And beating another James Hall. But unfortunately the cross lacked the quality of the footwork in the build-up.
Geez, why are the Zebras trying to play out short from the back? Maybe that's the game plan there. Just drop it right on the penalty spot from the opposite end.
The keeper clattering that. Muller. Cross to Little, and again there's the Lions. Once again, Pax. Yonazawa not a bad man to be able to play through though. And then a sloppy pass backwards. They do all the hard work and then turn it straight back over. Ill discipline there. Here's Gutierrez Jr. And a free kick going the way of the Lions. And this might just be in Chris Downs' territory. Probably a tough one for the direct shot, but it's a keeper with a slight stature. I wouldn't rule out Downsy taking the shot on here.
I mean, if anyone's capable of hitting the target and making it a dangerous one from here, it'd have to be Chris Downs, wouldn't it?
It would. The left foot of Samet usually be favoured on this side, so we'll see if he might be the one to take it. And indeed he will, and he swings it towards the back stick. Henry Fagg arriving to put it behind for a corner. So 3 minutes left in the first half here. 2-1 the way of the Lions. Well-deserved lead. He should be even more at this stage. Fortuitous penalty bringing the Zebras back within one, but Kingborough, they do have the advantage of the wind at their backs in this first half, so they will want to make it count. And dearly love that 2-goal buffer again as it's worked into the mixer, and it might fall for Turner. Oh, Reed got down to it, kept it out. I think Turner made the contact he was quite looking for, but Reed did very well all the same. Pace, his touch takes him wide, works it back for Dillon. Silky from Sanders. And his ball knocking off by Douse. Dillon wants to drive the tempo, straight on the head of Steele. Muller. Yonazawa. They've looked a lot better when he's been able to get on the ball. Not so on this occasion, a shank clearance from Cohen, that was lucky. And this one should go all the way through to Reed. Just a couple of minutes left in the half. He looks up. Driving ball. Forward they go. Gutierrez Jr., that's lovely. On the outside to Hall, giving chase here. Unable to do so. Just trying to keep it in. It's nearly half-time here, and you have to think the Zebras would be pretty happy for the half-time break if Jack Turner gets the amount on that he normally does. That's 3-1.
Yeah, that's another one where it's almost hard to see how it hasn't ended up in the back of the net. And you have to question the defending there a little bit for a corner to bounce, 2 or 3 times right around the penalty spot, and for a player to be allowed to shoot after that, it's not a good sign, and I think they'd be looking forward to the half-time break to try and fix that.
As Keenan Douse wants to send his side into the sheds with a 2-goal lead. That one threatened to take a nasty bounce on Walsh, but negotiated it well. Muller. Ooh. Pass jumped all over. The Lions have been doing a lot of that. Well broken up by Harutza. Decisively so. Perhaps time for one last attack here in the first half. Kingborough Lions very much come to play in the Safari Derby here this evening to kick off round 15 action. Brayton Allen just getting in the back there of Harutza. No foul blown. And in fact, he's been given a handball decision against him for picking the ball up when on the ground.
Yeah, once that wasn't a foul, there had to be something called there, didn't they?
I reckon that is a foul against Allen.
Definitely thought so on the first look, and yeah, it still looks that way on there, doesn't it?
Harutza seemed tumbling, but I don't think the Kingborough Lions will be minding too much. They feel they've been on the short end of the stick. So a free kick for the Lions here just before half time. Bends it in. Reid doesn't completely deal with it. Smashed away in the end. And then helped on by Walsh. Pace trying to turn. Samet gets a foot in. Punch down the line. Now a battle between Edwards and Dowse. And Keenan Dowse was alert to the danger. And just sticks that one in the creek.
Yeah, not a fun night to be going and collecting that one, I wouldn't think.
Icy hands getting that one, I'd have thought. So the throw. Headed back centrally. Tumbling over the top of Downs. No decision there for pace. Sanders turning. Looking for Riley Dillon, who's up against Keenan Dowse. Dillon beats him to the ball. Looks to skip inside. Well done, Keenan Dowse. Knew he wanted to go back the other way. Wasn't going to let it happen. Eventually reinforcements arrive in the form of Henry Fagg. Swings one across, steered away by Samet. Now turning is Brayton Allen. Have they got time before the half-time whistle here? Brayton Allen storming down the left. And he just drifted inside, and that's right to the teeth of the Zebras defence, really. A curious decision, that one. And Harutza working forward to Sanders. The whistle must be imminent. Yonezawa back to Henry Fagg. Riley Dillon finds Edwards. Edwards under close attentions from the big stalk Cuthbertson. Just about the tallest and smallest on the field going at each other there. There's Turner. Swings it out for the overlapping Samet. Made a bursting run. Good sliding challenge though from the Dwayne Pipe. Then plays it forward looking for Sanders, who'd clearly straight offside, and that I reckon might just about be that for the first half. Travelled 47 plus change. Clearly offside there, the Colonel. So the half-time whistle sounds here at KG5. It's 2-1 the score in favour of the Kingborough Lions. Probably should be 2-0. A very fortunate penalty for the Zebras just before the half, getting them back into this one. But Dave Smith's got some adjustments to make here at half-time, because Kingborough have been the better side. They've played the better football. And they've got two stunning goals from this man, Horatio Gutierrez Jr. They won't have the wind at their backs in the second half. That might change things a little. But I think you'd be pretty delighted if you're a Kingborough Lions fan at this stage, Dawley.
Yeah, I think as much as we can say that the Zebras have been a bit sloppy, I think the Lions have been equally just really, really good in everything they've done. And obviously a couple of fantastic finishes from Gutierrez to put them ahead, but well and truly a deserved lead, I'd say.
It certainly has been, and there is the penalty incident. I still just don't see it. And there was maybe a little contact with the back of Sanders' legs, but very fortunate, I think. And Sanders drives home to give the Zebras a lifeline. They may well need it. They've got to turn things around. We'll be back in around about 10 minutes' time to see if they can. Room to run into here, the former Warrior, and sends one down the line. It's a good-looking ball too. Nathan Reid out in his sharp fag, and then he turns it straight over to Cameron Steele. Scored the match winner last week up at Windsor Park, and he threads this one through, looking for the run of Hall. Here's Keenan Dowse, and good purchase on the throw too, looking for Hall. Harutza always favoured in an aerial back. Back for Dillon. Riley Dillon bending it in, and it's well taken. Allen threatening to get in behind down the left again. The numbers favour the Zebs, but Allen's kept a hold of the ball well, and he looks to slide it through. It's a dangerous ball. And again, Nathan Reed. Dillon holding off the attentions there of James Hall. In the end, he can't win inside the corner. Dillon, he spies a good run from Matthew Pace. Picks him out. A lovely ball onto his chest. Danny Cowan bodying up, and in the end, Edwards turning sharply. Nicky Edwards. He's trying to skip into space, but the elevator door sleeve. He's got Edwards on short. Helps to bend it into the back post. It might fall for Fag, not quite, and then volleyed away by Little. The area cleared by Gutierrez Jr. Did well. Cowan. You can see why Kent likes him at centre back. He's really dominating the aerial contest so far. Quickly taken free kick by Downs, trying to catch them out, and he's got
This far out, the Zebras would be a little bit nervous.
as he stands it up, looking for the big stalk. Cuthberts and Danny Cowan also in there. Great save. Nathan Reed gets a hand to it. And the Walsh wants it out for the throw, then takes it quickly, looking for Sanders. Off the head of Cowan. Into the path of Sanders, whose touch was heavy. Shut down again. Forward forward. Jack Turner volleying it forward into his own path. It's Jack Turner on the left. Tries to find Hall at the back post, and he just couldn't. They could have just got one more pass away. They keep a hold of it. Samet looking for Turner. Strong defence, Harutsa. And the flag had been raised. Jeff touched to flick that one out, but it's coming back the other way. It's Gutierrez Jr. Horatio Gutierrez Jr. with a sublime volley. And the Hobart Zebras trailing here early on. The Lions have come to play, and they take the lead here. Allen couldn't quite do so. Allen with a first-time ball back to Samet. Cross coming in, looking for Cameron Steele. Might fall out back. Gutierrez Jr. He's done it again! How do you like that, Horatio Gutierrez? He was such a big part of that South Hobart title charge last season as Edwards comes in late on Douse, and we'll get a bit of a talking to. Really giving him a focal point up there is Turner. Hall competing in the air against Fag, who goes down and will get the free kick. Hall just getting in his house. Looking for Hall. In between his legs, James Hall. Oh, then went the little nutmeg on Henry Fag. Very stylish. Up the back for Turner. Turner threads it across. Hall again. Just tried to play it off of the Zebras defender for a corner. Turning defence into attack. Dillon's got Edwards in the middle. He sends it in that direction. He beats Perkinson at the ball, and then coming across was Danny Cowan. And Steele showing strength and just holding off two Zebras, then beating a third, and then having his arm ripped off by Geordie Muller. Finds Edwards in a pocket of space. Jack Turner hustling out after him. Edwards trying to skip free of two of them, and that's a bit harsh, I reckon, on Steele.
Second there, worth a go.
I think the right decision has been reached as Jack Turner comes back in and has given away a penalty there, Jack Turner. Long to re-enter that frame at the very same end. So Sanders steps up and the Zebras pull one back. They have been gifted a lifeline here. Headed away by Henry Fag. This man's on a hat-trick. Back to Chrissy Downs first time. Just trying to finesse one for the top corner. Chris Downs, who sets it down in front of Douse. Gave him a bit of a task there, Douse, who bent one for Turner, but it left the field of play, unfortunately. This one off for Hall. Hall taking on Fag and beating him. And beating another James Hall, but unfortunately the cross. We'll see if he might be the one to take it. And indeed he will, and he swings it towards the back stick. Henry Fag arriving to put it behind Fountain. Dearly love that two-goal buffer again as it's worked into the mixer, and it might fall for Turner. Oh, Reed got down to it. Murray Derby here this evening to kick off round 15 action. Brayton Allen just getting in the back there of Harutsa. No foul blown. And in fact, a bursting run. Good sliding challenge, though, from the Dwayne pipe. Then plays it forward looking for Sanders, who'd clearly straight offside. And that, I reckon, might just about be that. And we are back for the second half here at KG5. The Kingborough Lions holding sway 2-1. A brace from Horatio Gutierrez Jr., aka CSI Miami, giving them a handy buffer before a contentious late penalty converted by Matthew Sanders. As the Zebras back within one, it's all still to play for. What are you expecting from this second half, Jacob?
I'm not sure what to expect, honestly. You'd think the Zebras will have to come out looking a little bit more composed after half-time, but after their first half, it's hard to say what will improve. It just something needs to improve. And on the other side, the Lions have looked about as good as they have all season.
Yeah, plenty of fire in their bellies. So, break from that huddle suggested they're here to get on with the job. Sniffing another big 3 points over the Hobart Zebras, as I mentioned last year, I think, in this fixture. They upset the Hobart Zebras in a Friday night fixture here at KG5 away from home. And they haven't needed Danny Cowan's spectacular halfway tackle goal to find the back of the net tonight, but two pretty spectacular goals in their own right from Gutierrez Jr. thus far.
I was going to say they weren't exactly stock standard finishes still, were they?
Absolute class from that man over the ball, and he gets us started here in the second half. Lays it back to Chris Downs. Steered away by Henry Fagg, and Riley Dillon working it forward to Sanders. We'll see if the tempo lifts here from the Zebras. I suspect it might early in the second half. I reckon Dave Smith would have had the hairdryer out during the half-time break, as this one snuck in, and just getting in the back there was Hall. Just working the elbow into the back of Fagg, bringing him down. And the relieving free kick will be paid. Yeah, coming away from the body, that one paid. Kurutza didn't get one paid late in the first half, as Little actually works his way out of trouble. Dillon immediately surrounded by blue shirts, and this is what they've done a tremendous job of tonight, really hunting in packs or prides, as it were. Just swarming the ball carrier. Here's Brayton Allen down the line looking for Gutierrez. Kurutza playing it off the American there. The calls from the Lions to box them in, and that's what they've been so very good at doing. We'll see if they can execute it here, or whether the Zebras will be able to play their way out. The Dwayne Pipe sends it down the line. Daddy Cowan side-footing it centrally, looking for Hall. Away from him, though, by Fagg. Spills to Jack Turner. Trying to combine with Douse, but he played it in behind him. He'll hustle out after this one. Oh, and then Hall played it out of his reach. Paul Keenan pretty stiff there the last 30 seconds.
That might be the first time all night that the Kingborough players might have run a little bit too hard on chasing the loose ball, honestly.
As the Zebras look to turn defence into attack, in the blink of an eye, swinging the cross in straight to Kenneth Perkinson. He had pace arriving, couldn't find him. Charge down there by Yonezawa. I don't know if it's quite going to stay in for him, though. The Japanese midfielder unable to get it, but he's a tenacious customer. He'll keep working hard in the engine room of the Zebras. So they might have switched back to a back four in this half, the Hobart Zebras. This one's headed on by Turner. Gutierrez Jr. over the top. Dwayne Walsh seems to be at right back now, and he'll be unsuccessful in trying to keep that one in the confines of the field of play. Gutierrez presenting. Instead, it's a different option. Walsh does well to win it away from Gutierrez, but the offside flag had gone up anyway. And the man, those two spectacular goals in the first half, really bring this game to life. Nathan Reid on debut in between the sticks for the Zebras.
Still looking really uncertain every time they have to play out from the back here, and that's more luck than anything, I think, but nothing's looking too confident coming out of defence.
Yeah, you're quite right. And He did get a little bit lucky there, I think, Walsh, as pace turns. They're still only down by 1 goal in this game. They'll be level if they can hit the back of the net. It doesn't feel like that, but that's the scenario we've got. And they're on the attack here. Riley Dillon had peeled off into an acre of space, but they're unable to work into him. The Lions win the ball back through Steele. He switches out to the left. Samet flicked on, looking for the run of Jack Turner, but Reed comfortably out in front of him. Swings it, and it's charged down by Douse. Turner now. Good foot in from Harutza. Reed gets there. Really well done by the Czech defender. It was Turner. I thought he was just going to flick in Gutierrez for the third there. Did well to get a foot in. Lions sweating all over them here at the moment. It's not got time on the ball, and they've coughed it up again. Gutierrez Jr. turns and has a look. That was quite ambitious. He skied that rather horribly in the end, but he just had one thought on his mind, the confidence clearly flowing from Gutierrez Jr. No thoughts to just rolling it off to Jack Turner 2 metres away. I'll try to pick out the top corner from 35.
No, nothing simple with the day that he's had today. I think we can give him maybe one overly ambitious one after the 2 he scored.
I'll give him 3 or 4. He's got permission all night, Dooley. He's got permission to do what he wants, this fella. When you can pull off the stuff he did in the first half, I say go for it. I'm sure Jack Turner would share those sentiments as Reed gets himself into trouble playing out here. Gutierrez Jr. just couldn't find downs. And fortunately there, and keeper, the distribution not quite on point on that occasion. And the Lions threatening again. Yonezawa with the defensive header. Steele. Finds Gutierrez, who's brought down by Walsh. Just clips the back leg there, and this should give Chris Downs a good crack at it. They'll send the tall timber forwards. Cuthbertson, Cowan, and Steele. So Samet just going to defer this one to the set-piece maestro, Chris Downs. What can he do here, Downs? He goes with the fantastically rehearsed set-piece, and Jack Turner just couldn't apply the finish. That had been run a few times on the training track, I reckon, and it caught the Zebras out completely.
That was very slick, wasn't it? I definitely didn't see it coming, and I don't think the defence did either, but it almost paid off.
Turner, he'd be kicking himself. He couldn't ask a bigger question of Reed there, who made the save, but they were utterly bamboozled by the short pass, and Gutierrez playing in Turner. Very well rehearsed routine, that one. As we have another look, Downs rolling it in, and Turner had just peeled off. No one going with him. He probably had time to take a touch and carry it forwards a little bit. Well, he wasn't to know that, though.
I don't think he was expecting to be in quite that much space after that, was he?
No, as Gutierrez sends this one in the fag direction, back to Reed. Yeah, I reckon on the training track, he certainly wouldn't have had time to be taking a touch when first time finishing. That one's charged down by Brayton Allen. They've just looked the hungrier team out there tonight, Kingborough. Off the head of Cowan. Leaves Cuthbertson with some work to do, but he managed to do it. Turner came swinging through, and then Yonezawa chips it forward. Douse just misjudging that one and letting in Nicky Edwards. Edwards will try and turn him. Rolls it off for pace. Back to the Dwayne pipe. Punches to the top of the box. Muller with a first-time flick. No one reading that. Douse with the left is able to manage it clear, but Yonezawa quickly recovers it. Pace. Intercepting was Jack Turner. Now Gutierrez with a raking ball looking for Allen, who should continue his run here because they might be on. Little should be able to intercept there as Hall taking up the central position. Gutierrez just dropping back deeper for the time being. He'll push up now. And he'll try and get to this one, but Arutza just able to use that big frame to shield him from it.
You mentioned there Gutierrez sitting a bit deeper for a moment there. That seems to be something that the Lions have really done well. I think everyone's been willing to drop back and defend, and everyone in the defence has been willing to push forward. And they've really communicated that well and been willing to do the hard running for each other.
Yeah, completely agree. And credit to Jez Kemp. He's got this team running very nicely, and he seems to have done the scout on the Zebras, and he's known exactly what to pounce on with the playing out from the back. Stretching there was Danny Cowan. Into the middle for Jack Turner. Turner. That was an ambitious ball. Fag knobs it down for Yonezawa. Yonezawa trying to play it over the head of Dowse for Dylan. And Stone Cold, who has been just that in this game, hasn't been on the ball too often at all. And unable to keep this one in. Keenan Dowse has done a pretty good job keeping Dylan quiet so far in this one, although probably more to do with the larger midfield battle than anything, as this one will fall out free in dispute. Working back is Allen. Samet. Joel Samet looking for Gutierrez. Up against Harutza, and out the back it falls for Hall. It's Allen sprinting in on goal. He's going to go with the left brace, and Allen couldn't bring it down, just trying to chip one to the back post. And wasn't far away either. He just went himself here. Been a pretty spectacular effort to complete their third goal of the night. Seems to be the way they're scoring them.
Yeah, maybe that's the high percentage plays for them. Who knows?
Muller. Reed under pressure. Did well to work it to Harutza. Coughed it up to Steele and got away with it. They've just run into trouble playing out all night. Here's Yonezawa. Sanders dropping deep. Muller out wide for pace. And Walsh. Oh, well done, Joel Samet. None shall pass. Centres it looking for Jack Turner. Turner just able to beat Little, but then he couldn't combine with his front man. To pick out there. See Tyler Harrison walking past. Of course, Glenorchy Knights taking on Devonport tomorrow. We'll have that one live for you as well. 3:15 tomorrow afternoon. The Knights and the Strikers, but still 34 minutes left here in this one. There's Kingborough Lions holding sway, 2-1, giving chase again. Gutierrez, uncomfortable for Reed, and he's cleared it straight to Jack Turner, who's going to try and catch him out. Didn't quite make the contact he was after there. And the pressure continues. And they are looking a little bit rattled out there right now, the Zeps. Not a lot of composure, but at 2-1, it's still very much anyone's game.
I think you said at the start of the half, it really doesn't feel like they're only a goal behind, does it?
Not at all. Not at all. Balance the play. It feels like a comfortable Kingborough lead, but that's the beauty of football. You can be outplayed, but as long as you don't concede all the goals and keep the scoring down, it doesn't really matter. It only takes one moment for you to hit the scoreboard yourselves.
Well, they've only got the one shot so far, so all they need is a second one and they could be back level.
Yeah, and that was obviously from a penalty, so no shots from open play. It's remarkable to think from where this Zebra side were at the start of the season. They're generating plenty of chances. Some pretty good football, but really that, even with the games they drew, they've been playing pretty well. The Olympia game was their worst performance of the year, and they've continued on with that here this evening, really. It's been much more akin to what we saw at Warrior Park a fortnight ago than in the 12 weeks preceding that. But can they spring to life? And maybe Dave Smith will need to look to the bench here. If I was him, I'd be maybe just looking at bringing Lukey Huxley on here, just to change things up a little bit, start knocking it along. As Gutierrez trying to smash everything goalward now.
That's another one off your tally of slightly optimistic shots he's allowed.
Well, it looks like my call's about to be heated too. The big fella, Lukey Huxley, is going to be introduced here. And I like this move from the Zebras. They need to change something up in there. They just need to change the balance. And Luke Huxley, the game against Devonport, the Lacquer Cup quarter-final here. He was a really, really transformative player up in attack. So he's replacing Henry Fagg. So that's a very attacking move. You've got to think that means Riley Dillon shifts back into left back. We'll see if Hughes Luke goes up top or into midfield. They want that physical presence, that extra body in there. Someone to compete against Cohen for those aerial balls. Or do they just stick him right up top? Looks like he's going to go into midfield as Yonezawa skips free of downs and turn backwards. And Reid, the youngster, just needed to have a look before playing that one. A few nerves have been on display with a little bit of his distribution tonight. Made that huge save early on to deny Danny Cohen. Now can they play their way out here? Reid under pressure from Gutierrez. Just shanks it out of play. This one's swung back towards Brayton Allen. Brayton Allen, will it sit for him? He brings it down and then volleys it. But looks to have handled it in the process. And this will be retaken. And I think Muller just telling his young keeper just to calm things down a little here at the back.
And I think there have been some nerves from him in his distribution, but his teammates don't seem to be doing him too many favours with their presenting for the ball either. He hasn't had too many easy options playing out from the back, although that one there.
I think the last 3 or 4 now, I think he's getting a little bit rattled, the youngster.
He looks to be shaken up a bit after every one, and you have to think that maybe it's just getting into him a bit more every time he does get the ball.
Yeah, I think it's starting to play on his mind now, especially the way the Lions are really sweating on them.
Yeah.
This one's lofted forward, brought down by Gutierrez. Gutierrez slides it through for Hall. He's got Turner in the middle, but he's going to have to track it. It wasn't the best pass there from Junior on that occasion. Douse swinging the crossing. Stretching was little. Yonezawa to Matty Sanders. Sanders to Edwards. Edwards back to the keeper. I was about to say this is the sharpest they've looked playing out all evening, and they've ended right back up at the keeper.
Yeah, they haven't really played out in the end, have they?
They've got to do so again. Here's Hughes Luke. They've kept a hold of the ball well on this occasion, though, the Zebras. Like Hughes Luke just lost control of it. It's his balance there, the big fella, and going to be brought back. So past the hour mark. It's 2-1 the Lions. I just think if the Lions could get the next one, I find it hard to see a Zebras fight back, but whilst it's 2-1, there's still every chance of sneaking something. I don't know if they've got the fight in them at the moment to recover if it's a 2-goal deficit again, though.
No, it only takes one shot to come back at the moment, but it's honestly hard to see them creating more than maybe just one good chance here.
Here they go now. They break. And Hall's done really well, as he knows. It's a free kick to the Zebras, and the Lions, I must say, have got a similar reaction to myself here. I just thought Dylan pushed him.
Yeah, we're not in the best spot up here, but I definitely thought that was going the other way when I heard the whistle go, and it looked like there was most of the holding being done by Dylan there before, a little shove off at the end.
I suppose he stepped right into his path as Dylan charged forward there, and maybe that's what he's brought it for, but
it's a yellow been given as well there. Is it maybe for some chat after the
I think that was for the demonstration. I'm not actually sure who got that. Well, Samet, young Charlie, our producer here, is going with Samet. We'll back him in. He's probably got a closer eye watching the zoomed in camera vision than watching the whole pitch, as there were Lions flying in from everywhere to protest that one.
Hard to tell who was arguing the most and was going to get the yellow card there.
So, all hands on deck at the back here for the Lions. The Zebras in danger from set pieces, and they could be back on terms here.
Quite often when you're struggling to make chances in general play, it is the set pieces where you can make something happen, isn't it? It doesn't have to be a great build-up, it just has to be one good play.
And they've got Huxley and Harutza in there. And that one straight down the gullet of Perkinson, who plays it quickly to Steele, who's looking to break. Swings it across to Brayton Allen. Brayton Allen centering, looking for a run that wasn't forthcoming from Hall. Through to Reid. I suppose the other factor is, will the Lions have the fitness base to keep this press up for the full match? They've been pretty relentless for most of the night. It's got to be taking its toll on this big pitch.
Yeah, they haven't looked like slowing down yet, but come the last maybe 10 or 15, you'd have to think they might hit the wall even just a little bit.
Walsh looking for Hughes loop. Expect to see plenty of that from at this point forwards. Yonezawa. Oh, Yonezawa gliding through the middle. Then just blasted, and it's going to turn into a pretty good ball because waiting out the back was Pace. Matty Pace gets on the end of that. Danny Cohen stood him up, showed good strength, and wins the ball away well. I was sceptical when I saw him on the team sheet as centre-back a couple of weeks ago, Dooley. There was a little bit of that last year from memory. I wasn't a big fan of them, but he's been impressive tonight.
Yeah, you said you wanted to see a little bit more with the defenders running at him rather than in the air, didn't you? And that's the first time he's really been tested on that, but it looked pretty good on that one.
So a long throw. Again, decisive in the air. And Keenan Dowse is on hand to smash it well away. Gutierrez giving chase. Tommy Little just opting for safety first. Seeking the safety of the touchline. Gutierrez hustling out after that. He's certainly going to be keen for a third. Try and complete his hat-trick. The attempts he's been taking, if he does get a third, it might be the most spectacular hat-trick you'll ever see. There's Hall trying to get him behind, just flicks it over the top of Tommy Little, but Little got body position on him as a result. Turner pounced on it, and then Hall has brought down Little. Yeah, just leaning over with the arm on the shoulder there, giving the defender every chance to hit the deck. Nice work from Steele. Surging through the middle is Cameron Steele, and then a little drop pass that no one was quite expecting. I think they were expecting, like myself, the shot to come there. Scored from a similar range against the Rouge last week up at Windsor Park. I was expecting Steele just to smash that one. Opted for a little bit of guile with the little pass instead, trying to pick out Gutierrez, but through the legs of Harutza, and just needed to be out in front a little more.
I have to say, even as he was bringing the leg back to play that pass, I was looking for the ball going towards the goals. I didn't know where it had gone for a second there.
It's Dowse. Perkinson a little bit of work here. Swings it into the middle. Jack Turner's come. Gee, he's offside. But he's got the ball about 15 metres in front of the defensive line, so geez, he worked hard to get to it.
Yeah, that pretty much sums up the hard running from the Lions, doesn't it?
He's got that miles out of the defence. Everyone was wondering what the whistle was for because it just seemed so inexplicable that Jack Turner was offside. But that is the work rate. He just charged out after that. He's been a great addition to this Kingborough side. Very nice little bit of work. Jez Kemp had about 48 hours before the transfer deadline when he took over, for the local deadline. And he made it count. He picked up his man Turner. And they've got themselves the throw in here, the Lions. Looks like Sunday McEwen is being readied. As the Zebras turn to their attacking options, and good options on the bench this evening with Hugh Sloot and McEwen. Here is the man who's just come on. Hugh Sloot. Stalk Cuthbertson away. Well, that was a poor clearance though, straight to Yonezawa, and then Gutierrez infringing him from behind. And another free kick in a spot for Riley Dillon to go to work. Again, set pieces are going to be all the tougher now that Hughes Sloot's out there, as well as Harutza. Look out for the lime and green boots. The dangers here. Some serious stature. Although Jack Turner and Nick Cuthbertson fairly well equipped to man mark them. So it's Riley Dillon. It's a great ball in. And the Lions do pretty well to repel it. Dillon with another chance. He just stands it up to the back post. Headed on target. Perkinson the save. And they'll clear it away eventually. Cuthbertson deflects it into Dowse. And Keenan Dowse lofts it away. The Zebras starting to push now for the first time all night, really. They're starting to generate a few chances. Oh, well defended again. Yonezawa. He's been the Zebras' best tonight. Blaine Walsh. Raking diagonal. Good strength shown by Sanders. And the offside flag raised. So just just been standing off when he began. Did really well just to hold his position, hold the centre back off that ball. Really the angle to tell that one. So it looks like McEwen set to be introduced here with 21 minutes left in regulation. Long go the Lions. The Rutzer should win this. Does so, but fell straight to Steele. Elevated pass, heavy touch from Allen. Made it work for him. Turner. Samet. Holding off Walsh here is Samet. And winning the free kick too. And there's some mild consternation, but I suppose he's been consistent with them tonight.
I was going to say they've gone pretty much the same both ways, haven't they? It seems like once that attacking player gets in a better position, if he's even slightly sort of hit or brought down, he's going to blow the whistle there.
Yeah, there's been a few soft ones given, but they've been both ways. And as I say, he's been consistent. I think that's the main thing you want.
Yeah.
But Chris Downs, I just wonder if maybe you might just try and sneak this in near post. He goes back post instead. Wasn't far away either, Chrissy Downs. Had Reed flailing out there at the back stick. Look at the bend on this ball. Not quite enough, but geez, a bent back late.
He's had that angle 3 or 4 times now, hasn't he? And every time I've been waiting for him to just maybe sneak a shot in there.
So it looks like it's going to be Pace replaced by McEwen. So counts Sunday. The difference for the Zebras here under the lights of KG5, where we saw him score a late equaliser against Olympia. Contentious but spectacular one, that. Back at North Hobart as Reed launches this one long. Strong header from Hughes Slute and then flicked on, might land into the path of Sanders. Not quite. Steal away from Muller. And then Brayton Allen chipping it over the top. Gutierrez Jr. Horatio Gutierrez Jr. has 2. Squares it up. It's Hall now. Hall taking on Dillon. Just tried to do a little too much, the youngster. And the Zebras defence able to see it away. Steele broke very dangerously there. Really got up the pitch in a hurry tonight, Kingborough. They have had attacking opportunities. The midfield's really supported the front line well. Here's Jack Turner, who looks up and sees Hall about 8 metres offside, so just has to hold it up. Plays it back to Steele. The big stalk. Danny Cowan. Ending it on the left. He'll get field position, if nothing else. Long throw. Sanders, incidental hand. Yonezawa switches up. Lovely ball to Riley Dillon. Riley Dillon with some room to bomb into. He plays the early ball looking for McEwen, who goes down. It looks like the offside flag had been raised though. As shouts of a penalty went up, but the flag hit them all.
That might have been another big call to be made there, mightn't it?
Yeah, I'd need the slow-mo because it looks like he tripped his own legs, but it seems more plausible that Cuthbertson might have just got a little touch on him.
Yeah, I have to say, on that replay, it did look like he might have done that to himself, but...
Yeah, to me it looks like he's just collapsed his own legs, but they're the type of ones at that pace when you're running like that, it takes the slightest little touch. Need the zoom, but to me I think he collapsed over his own leg there anyway, but all a moot point. The offside flag had been raised as Hughes Slute knocks it back to Yonezawa. Now Geordie Muller. Sanders starting to get more involved. Hughes Slute and Walsh, the pace of ball movement lifting. Here's the Dwayne pipe, swings it out to Nicky Edwards. He's got some room to manoeuvre here, Edwards. Drops the shoulder and he beats his man. Drilled cross, shouts for handball. And nothing doing. Saying handball or our ball? Shouts immediately went up. Zebras on the attack. Sanders. Hughes Slute. Laid it back and Perkinson able to get down to deny Riley Dillon. Didn't make the sweetest of contact there. Stone cold. The Zebras definitely lifting here as the half wears on. It's And a few chances just starting to develop. Game opening up a little. Reed. Muller. Reed coughing it up to Hall, and he gives it straight back. But the distribution continued to be an issue at the back here. So we have a look at Riley Dillon. Charge down effort, not enough to beat Perkinson.
We've got a player down off the ball here for the Lions. Not too sure what's happened there.
Bit of cramp, I think, there for Hall. No, I'm not surprised. He's been putting himself about in attack. He's made a lot of sprints this evening, and it seems like perhaps his evening going to be done here.
Yeah, we've been waiting for some sign of the Lions wingers slowing down, haven't we? And that's really the first one, but as you say, it looks like it might be the last one for Hall as well.
Jake Hayes, I think, the man coming on here. So we'll see if he can help them see things out. Some fresh legs in attack as the rain's starting to fall now here at KG5.
I think that might be Nick Zammit actually who's come on, number 17. I only say that because I think Jake Hayes might be the keeper on the bench. So,
well, excellent. He's definitely Nick Zammit looking at him, so you are spot on there, Dawes. He's got an early involvement here. He's going to have to try and chase down Riley Dillon. Beat him to it, then wins the throw. Yeah, the number change has thrown me there with Nick Zammit, but you're definitely right. That is him. It's McEwen. Lays this one back to Dillon. Muller. McEwen. Lions defence holding firm, and one suspects they might have a little bit more defending in these final 15 minutes than they've had for most of the night. I think they're going to need to hold on a little. Expect a big late push from the Zebs here. Third goal might be able to just kill things off for them as they gain some territory with the sling of Douse. Heaving him down the line all evening.
Yeah, it's been another sort of dimension to the Lions' attack, hasn't it? Another thing to worry about are those big long throws over.
Here's Gutierrez Jr. stroking a throw for Zammit. And they got themselves a corner. I'd suggest Nick Zammit's reaction makes that pretty clear. Goal kick. Nathan Reid takes this one quickly. He's inspired Hurutza and Walsh. Big check centre back. Well, he didn't really give Sanders much of a chance there. He presented short and he lofted it over his head. That's just exactly the type of stuff I'm after here from Perkinson too, eating up every possible second there.
Yeah, he seems like a pretty smart operator, doesn't he?
Very much alert to the circumstances. Every second helps. It's Dillon's touch, just heavy, but it's, the less the ball is in play, I think the better as far as Kingborough is concerned late on.
They might be happy to see another couple go down into the creek at some point here.
And they might help a few on their way. Here's Geordie Muller, works it to Hughes-Lute. Luke Hughes-Lute has it taken from beneath his legs by Gutierrez Jr. Zebras throw their fullback Walshy further on. Here's Hughes-Lute, who thought he was going to get a handball decision his way there. Doesn't get it. Long in the turner direction. You can see how the ball's just holding up in the wind. That's one of the differences in this second half. Zammit tries to make something happen, but it's just picked right back up in the last few minutes. It had been fairly absent throughout the previous half an hour in this half, but with the rain coming in, the wind also now a factor, and a little bit closer to what we had in the first half. A little bit stronger as Gutierrez Jr. has that one whisked away from him by Tommy Little.
So I don't know if the wind's stronger, but it's definitely starting to feel a little bit colder now, isn't it? Yeah,
that's definitely noticeable. Douse again with a missile down the line. A pretty good one too. Gutierrez running onto it and then centres it for Samet, who, if he could have brought under his spell, he had Brayton Allen waiting to line up at the back stick. Turner and Riley Dillon. Of course, that's how Stone Cold got his nickname, as Stratos just getting a touch of the ball and breaking up a move. Dillon now surging forwards here for the Zebras, running at pace here is Stone Cold, sends it across to Nicky Edwards. Edwards looking to skip to the byline, cuts back straight to the big stalk, Cuthbertson. And he steers it away. It was a promising moment there in attack for the Zebras. Hughesloot in prominent. Who's looking for Sanders. And Sanders! Oh, a rasping shot on the turn. It wasn't far away either. He belted that one to the Colonel. The first shot in anger he's fired off from open play all night. And the keeper would have had no chance if that had been on target. Just wide in the end.
He hasn't had many sights of the goal, has he? But we know that he doesn't need many to make an impact, and that one looked like he might have done enough, but just going wide.
The only time he's been able to get a shot away that I recall was the penalty. From that, he's just been starved of service. He's scored 19 or 20 times this season now. So if he can supply him, he'll get you the goals, but it's been the ammunition that's been lacking this evening. But they are making a push here late, and the Lions maybe just tiring a tad. Maybe overrun, or can they hold on? Here's Lukey Hughesloot. Hughesloot working it over the top, and they'll just pick up a little bit of pace. Jez Kent will be very familiar with the threat of Luke Hughesloot. I think he won the Vic shooting medal under him up at university when he was coaching in the Southern Championship. I think he won the medal the year they won the title there. Two titles students won under Kent. Back in the NPL game after coaching Launceston City last season. And the results early on been good for the Lions. As this one was down. And the call's just been called to Jack Turner just to drop a little bit, and I think that's possibly a wise move as we enter the final 10 minutes of regulation. Sanders looking to get involved. Into the bullseye it goes. It'll fall for Allen. Played it first time. Gutierrez Jr. beaten to it by Harutza. Walsh keeps it going down the line to Edwards. Edwards to the checking machine. Here's Tommy Little. And he zipped the ball around the pitch. Hughesloot now, and just a basic error trying to find Dillon. The Mockers on that, they were finally starting to move the ball around nicely, and then just a basic error.
Yeah, it feels like a few times where they've done all the hard yards, won the contested balls, and managed to get it out from under pressure. And then what seems like a simple pass is the one that brings them undone.
Headed down by Yonezawa. Centred for Hughesloot. Charging through is Riley Dillon. Broken up by Joel Samet. Samet to Zamet. The rhyme going here, although Douse might ruin that as he'll take the throw in. Should be in no rush here whatsoever, Keenan. They're closing in what would be a huge victory for the side. It would be the first time this year they'd get consecutive wins. Taking his full allocation, he goes long, and it's a good ball too for Gutierrez Jr. Able to control it and square it there. Across to Brayton Allen. Allen chipping, looking for Turner, but always favoured Harutza that ball. Pressure will be on Walsh here. And well charged down by Allen. He should be able to box them in.
You could excuse him for sitting back a bit here, the Lions, and defending a bit deeper, but they're not taking that press off yet, are they?
I think they've had such success with it that they don't want to sit back and just invite the danger.
No point changing a winning formula.
Given they've been so successful at disrupting them, it's just a matter of hoping they've got the legs, and maybe, Jack Turner dropping back a little deeper, getting that extra body in midfield. But I don't think they want to be parking a bus or anything just yet. Cowan not heading that one the direction he wanted. Straight into his bench. Edwards will take it quickly. Found Sanders. He couldn't get it past Steele. And Gutierrez Jr. I thought had his legs taken out for under him by Harutza. McEwen. Shut down by Douse. And then Zamet. Works it down the line for Jack Turner. Just volleyed it to keep it in play. And in the end, Tommy Little did pretty well. Works it to Yonezawa. Yonezawa under pressure from Jack Turner. He just spins free. He's trying to play the 1-2. The 2 wasn't there for it. And now Cameron Steele leads out the counter-attack. Gutierrez Jr., he's got Zamet riding down the right. That's where he heads. Zamet's got 2 in the middle, and one of them, oh my word, is Bryson Allen with the miss of the season. Well, is there something about that 6-yard box? I've seen the 2 biggest misses of the year in the space of 5 days, and I didn't think Monday would be top 2 now.
That's one where I'm not actually sure how that's physically possible.
How has he got under it to that degree? That is extraordinary.
It's not like he's just snuck it over the bar. It's gone about twice as high as the goals and gone over the shed at the back.
Oh, my word. Brayton Allen, well, if the Zebras do get back level, bookmark that moment. That might have been the chance to kill the game off. Great flowing football from the Lions. And a bullet dodged. And Chris Downs has smacked that over the roof of the stand. I don't know where that's going to end up. A couple of suburbs away, perhaps. As this is just put on a platter. Unbelievable. Brayton Allen, he can't believe he's done it. Everyone at the ground was just stunned for a second.
Not quite sure what to make of it, were we?
Oh, my word.
I'm going to have to watch that one a few more times, I think, to really get my head around how it's even happened.
So, eventually, they will return. Looks like the Lions are headed back to their bench for a few more fresh legs. Noah Smithy Sharples, the centre-back, set to come on. So, here's 4 minutes to go. Is the time to shut up shop, just Keith has decided. And he's going to bring off Brayton Allen for Smithy Sharples, and look fair, to be honest, to just be dragged straight from the ground after that. I'm sure the sub had been lined up a couple of minutes ago. But
I was going to say, we can't know for sure if that sub was coming already, but if not...
I think it would have been.
I think it's a lot more fun for us if we just pretended it was a spur-of-the-moment one.
But look, deservedly dragged regardless. So, can the Lions hold on now that they've squandered that one, or will they be made to rue that miss? Away by Danny Cowan. It would be oh so cruel on Kingborough to not take the 3 points now, really. And, a pretty contentious penalty was the Zebras' goal in this one, as it's centred back to Yonezawa. He's been classy as ever in the midfield. Found Tommy Little. Little drops it off for Dylan. Riley Dillon tried the reverse pass. Turner just dropped it off for Zamet. Goes looking for Gutierrez Jr., but steered away from him by Harutza. Up and under that should favour Hugh Sloot. Flicked on, falls onto the chest of Sanders. Sanders looking to turn onto the left in his customary fashion. A wild swing of the leg there. Play allowed to continue. Steele just trying to hold it up. Falls out the back. Smithy Sharples punches it into the corner. Reed comes out. Oh, doesn't deal with it, then slips. Then coughs it straight up. Sabat swinging it in. He had the empty net, couldn't find it. Went looking for Jack Turner instead. Harutza. Harutza to Hugh Sloot. Luke Hugh Sloot. A bursting run made by McEwen. That's ignored, and then he's just been put on the deck straight afterwards, and a slice of cheese issued to Chris Downs as he brings down Hugh Sloot. Well, after he got rid of it, the shove there. And just a little ill-discipline that from Chris Downs, because they weren't threatening. Their fullback had about a 6-yard advantage in the foot race. So, 2 minutes plus change remaining. The Zebras with a free kick. Geordie Muller looking for Harutza, who headed it back in, but straight into the waiting arms of Perkinson. There'll be no rush here. And eventually, he just goes looking for the vacant corner out in front of Zamet. Took it down. Pretty good touch from Zamet. Centering ball broken up by Muller before he could find the man lurking about, looking for that hat-trick. Gutierrez Jr. Cohen read that. Heads it away. Into the final 90 seconds we go. The Dwayne pipe. Long in the Sanders direction. Out the back for Hughesloot. Steele. Left it for Cuthbertson. Up and under. Volleys forward. Good ball for McEwen, and he's got Geordie Muller in support. That's where he heads. Muller back to Dillon. Punching a flat one into the chest of Sanders, but Downs is able to clear the area. Harutza over the top of Gutierrez Jr. Play on. Oh, big ball in dispute here. Well done, Dwayne Walsh. It was a 3-on-1 out the back. If he didn't win that, that was huge, full-blooded, and it might lead to a chance too. Wide for Riley Dillon. He crosses in. Douse mistimes the clearance, but they're able to get it at the second time of asking, and we've almost reached stoppage time. A furious late push coming here, and I've just become accustomed to cup final day. I've gone looking for the fourth official and realised absolutely no chance of that.
Yeah, we're back to normal now, aren't we?
Back to normality here. I don't think the match manager is going to get a signal too much for us, but I can't imagine there would be a whole lot of added time. I think the standard two or 3 minutes would definitely suffice here. There haven't been big stoppages. Yonazawa turning away from where he needs to go. Back to Harutza. Dwayne Walsh skips into space. And now, well, they'll be brought back for a little foul there on Walsh, although he's stolen quite a few yards here, and if I were Jack Turner, I'm not sure I'd be standing for this. Well, looks like they're going to get away with it too.
Yeah, they've got to try everything at this point, don't they?
So Edwards into the box. Nodded back. No one there for the Zebras, although Samet doesn't really direct his clearance. I mean, they would have liked a little further upfield. Would have been preferable. Invites a little more danger. Dwayne Walsh looking for Hughesloot. Couldn't find him. Gutierrez Jr. Can he turn and take two on here? He's got a little support arriving in the form of Cameron Steele. Steele back to Gutierrez Jr. Gutierrez Jr. dwelled on it. Skillfully done. Worked it back for Steele. Cameron Steele onto the right. Still he holds. Finally pulls the trigger. Charge down. Joel Samet bends it straight at Reed, and he's got to go quickly, the youngster. And he does. Releases Tommy Little. Carrying it forward here is the centre half. Dropped it off for McEwen. Sunday McEwen. Out wide, but a slightly heavy touch. Yonazawa trying to find some space. Back to Harutza. They're looking to get it wide before pulling the trigger, but they're just eating up precious seconds. Now they go, looking for Sanders. Flicked on out the back, and it'll be easy pickings. And Perkinson can just let that one roll out. Need a few more seconds off of the clock. Will have ticked just about 92 minutes by the time he gets rid of this one. Long from Perkinson. It's central. Flicked on by Gutierrez, but out the back waiting for it to Harutza. Jan Harutza. Long again. Danny Cohen should eat this one up. Get a whole lot of purchase on it, and Samet's control almost went to the path of Hughesloot. That's surely a Zebra's throw. Smithy Sharples tried to disguise it. I admire the cheek, but clearly a Zebra's throw in. Hughesloot then leaves it for Muller. Back to Hughesloot, has Edwards in support. Oh, a lunging challenge, a poor one from Joel Samet. That'll be a slice of cheese. And it's a red card, because that's his second. So Joel Samet's night will end, and the Lions will end the game with 10. And they need to defend perhaps one last set piece here. Samet didn't want him to cross, scythed him down. That was his second of the evening. And it all comes down to this. Riley Dillon. Stone cold Riley Dillon over the dead ball. All hands on deck. The Lions down to 10 for the final seconds of this one. It'd be a real sucker punch if the Zebras were to level it up. Here we go. Last gasp. Swings it in near post. Through a sea of bodies. Can anyone decisively clear it? Oh my word, just wide of the post. The Zebras thought they had a corner. They're not getting one. And that might be that. And, geez, it wasn't far away. Who was this with the final touch? Hughes.
He was just rushed the whole time, wasn't he? But he had a little bit of space there in the end, and I just don't think he realised it.
He was rushed. He was off balance, I think, was the thing that really did him. And just wide of the mark. And I think Kingborough probably deserving a little bit of fortune. And Perkinson, I reckon, is just going to wait until he gets yellow carded here. Well, he's going to take it eventually. He certainly pushed the time limit, and why not?
Made the most of it.
Because there's the final whistle. The Kingborough Lions, Kings of the Jungle, they win the Safari Derby here tonight. 2 goals to 1, 2 stunners from Horatio Gutierrez Jr. in the first half. Matthew Sanders pulled one back from the penalty spot to make it 2-1 at the half, and that was how it ended. The Zebras improved in the second half, had them under quite a bit of pressure there towards the end. But Kingborough fully deserving of their victory. And they walk away with the 3 points. And one for mine, you can't argue with, Jacob.
No, I think that's pretty much the result that we probably deserved in the end there. And the Lions thoroughly deserved the 3 points. I mean, the shot count ended at 13-5. And I think that tells pretty much the whole story of most of the night.
And there's one of those shots from Gutierrez Jr. 2 goals of the highest quality from Horatio this evening. Here's the second one. Just gets on the bicycle. Thanks for coming. And that was 2-0. Then they were handed a lifeline just before the half with the Hobart Zebras. So we'll have one last look at this. Jack Turner, adjudged to have just gotten to the back leg of Sanders there. Pretty soft, but up stepped the Colonel. And he made it 2-1 to give his side hope, but they couldn't build on it. And the game ended 2-1 in favour of the Kingborough Lions. And there's your miss of the season, folks. Iggy Giampoli breathing a sigh of relief after that one, because Brayton Allen has just seized the honours. Fortunately for him, he can have a laugh about it because it's not going to cost his team anything. They emerged the winners. And after a very entertaining Friday night game here, it's Hobart Zebras 1, Kingborough Lions 2. Thanks for joining me here this evening, Dooley.
Oh, thanks for having me. As you say, a good game in the end and a few nice goals to win it, which is what you always like to see.
It was indeed, and you'll have Dooley on the tonsils again tomorrow with Paul Hunt to bring you Devonport and the Glenorchy Knights, who join them for that one at 3:15. Should be a very good game, that one. It was a bit of a mismatch last time they met up at Valley Road, but the Knights will have a much stronger team out on paper this time around. And I fancy we could be in for a cracking game. So join us tomorrow afternoon for the Knights and Strikers. But from KG5 on Friday night, it's the Kingborough Lions victors by 2 goals to 1.